Hello, I'm Archie Luxury, and welcome to the program. Today I'd like to talk about Patek Philippe is not for everyone. That's right, Patek Philippe is not for everyone. And I rang my watchmaker last night. This is the guy in Sydney who fixed, well, there's nothing wrong with it. He serviced my Patek 5107. He serviced it. And I was on the phone to him. I just wanted to say thank you very much for a job well done. And I was having a talk to him about the Patek, and he said, look, Archie, the 5107, it's a really nice piece. And I was talking to him about it, and he said, look, you've got to be very gentle with that watch. He said, that's a very, very fine, very, very beautiful watch, but it is not a robust watch like a Rolex. And this is a very interesting thing he's mentioned. He said to me, you need to be gentle with it. This is not a watch. He said to me, this is a sort of a watch that is made for somebody, a man who is very careful and very, very gentle with his watch. It's made for somebody who takes care, never does anything rough or abrupt. And I said, yeah, that's because the fucking demographic for a Patek Calatrava owner, the age of the fuckers is 75 and over. That's by the time they can afford the fucking thing. And he had a chuckle about that. But it's true. These pieces are extremely delicate, sensitive pieces. They're not as robust as a Rolex Datejust or an Omega, any Omegas for that matter. And this is the thing. If you're not prepared to be gentle with it, don't fucking get one. Okay? This is my advice to you. Any of these Holy Trinity members, AP, PP, VC, they are extremely beautiful. They are the best in the world. It's nothing better than that. Maybe a Lange, okay? Maybe a Lange. But the Lange, I'll talk about that later and at another time, because I'm still fucking angry at those mean, nasty Germans for what they did to my grandfather. But I've got to say this in all honesty to you. Those Holy Trinity members, they are the best, they are the greatest, but they're not like a fucking, a Rolex or an Omega. And the movement itself, it's highly decorated, highly polished, it's got gold parts, and it's all done by hand, and it's done beautifully. But it's quite an expensive piece to own. It's like owning a Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce has all the parts. They will charge you a fucking mozza to service and maintain that Rolls Royce. And owning a piece like a Patek or an AP or a VC is no different. And the problem comes in that it's getting very hard now to get Rolex parts. But my watchmaker in Sydney has a huge stash of them. But Patek parts, man, it's very, very hard. A lot of these watchmaking companies see this as a revenue source, and they want to do the servicing themselves because they can charge a fucking mozza and make a shitload of cash out of it. You can't blame them. It's the capitalist free enterprise system we live in. And I gotta say, I've had some trouble with my AP, my Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. It's got a delicate movement in it. I thought it would be like a Rolex Datejust. No. This is a highly refined, highly delicate, highly sensitive type of movement. And it's an ultra-thin movement, so everything is so sensitive. The tolerances are so fine. It's like saying, well, comparing a BMW to a normal car. A BMW, the tolerances, you're going to pay a lot more for servicing and parts because the tolerances are finer. Whereas in a GM product, you've got wider range. And this is what I'm trying to say. You've got to understand, these high-end wristwatches, they're not for everyone. They are delicate fuckers. They are delicate, sensitive fuckers. And if you bought a Patek Calatrava and thought you could be the same as with a Rolex, man, you'd be fucking disappointed. And this is why Rolex is such a strong brand, because, okay, the movement, you know, at high-end horological level, the movement's nowhere near like a Patek movement. It's not as finished. It's not, you know, hasn't got the 22 karat gold rotor, blah, blah, blah. But it's a fucking utilitarian workhorse. The bastard works. It's fucking strong. It's not too bad for shock. I mean, without fucking going to an atomic war in it, it's pretty good shit. See, a Patek is extremely finely set. It's like a Ferrari. Could you use a Ferrari every day? Sure, the Ferrari is one of the best cars in the world. A Rolls Royce, it's one of the best cars in the world. But could you use it every day? Well, it would fucking bankrupt you. And this is the same thing. These Pateks, they are extremely sensitive, extremely delicate, made of precious metal. You got to take care and appropriate actions with them. And this is the whole thing. These are delicate, sensitive watches. And unless you're prepared to do that, don't fucking get a Holy Trinity watch. I'll give you an example. I had a vintage Mercedes-Benz, the 230 SL, some time back. And I had a friend who owned a E320, a modern E320. And I said, oh, let's go for a drive. And I started the car up, warmed it up for he goes, this is a fucking pain in the ass. He said, just jump in and drive. I said, no. You do that in a fucking vintage car like this, you're going to have a fucking $5,000 repair bill. I said, you got to take it careful. This is a 45-year-old car. You can't just jump in, put the key in and drive. You need to let the bastard warm up. Otherwise, you're going to fucking cause major damage to the car. And you got to be prepared to put that in. If you just want to put the key in and drive, don't buy a vintage 1960s classic Mercedes. You got to fucking buy a newie. You can't buy a vintage one. And this is the question. This is the same thing with the watches. If you're not prepared to treat those watches delicately, get a fucking Rolex or an Omega. Okay, that's my advice. Rolex and Omega are heavy duty. They're mainly made of steel. They're good fuckers. However, a Patek, sure, a Patek is the greatest. A Vacheron, an AP, they're the greatest. But they're pretty fucking sensitive fuckers. They don't like shock. They're a highly refined movement. Yes, they are the greatest, but unless you're prepared to treat them accordingly, you're going to be in for some nasty fucking repair bills. Refined movement. Yes, they are the greatest, but unless you're prepared to treat them accordingly, you're going to be in for some nasty fucking repair bills. I'm Archie Luxury, reporting on the facts of life, and this has been a Patek Philippe is not for everyone. See you later, and tell me what you think.